Hi everyone, I'm Arglefumf playing Socrates Jones, Philosopher. We're on chapter number 2. Dad regress? To deteriorate into an earlier state. Okay, fallacy? A logical flaw. Ooh, it looks like she's giving me a pop quiz on fancy words. Qualification? Come on, Dad. Like, I know what it means, I just can't define it. Yeah, like a law degree. Close enough. Can we stop? Depends. Try not to stumble over your words like last time. I didn't do too badly. I earned all the style points. You got 0 style points. Yeah. I could have done without that silly joke at the end, though. Look, I'm just trying to keep our spirits up. Spirits, because they're dead. Okay, Arbiter, who's next? There are many philosophers here. One thinks he knows you personally. Knows me? Yes. That doesn't make sense. How could he possibly know you? Did you know any philosophers, Dad? I don't know, maybe it's one of my fraternity buddies. I don't know, come on. You have friends, Dad? I doubt that. Ouch! Ouch! I mean, that sounds like something a teenager would say, but still. Well met, Socrates, my friend and colleague. I can help you on your quest to find the nature of morality. Great! Who are you? What? Oh, come on now. You have to remember me. Look at the face. The name comes to mind. Heisenberg? Protagoras! How could you have forgotten? We debated in Athens millennia ago. Oh, okay. So that's one of the Socratic dialogues I have never read. Protagoras, obviously, he's famous for developing the Pythagorean theorem. Is that the same guy, or am I wrong? I guess I could be wrong. My name is Socrates, but okay, fine. If you've forgotten me, I will share my lessons with you. So, let's hold our discussion together in our own persons, making trial of truth and ourselves. Wow, this seems tough. Simple elimination will demonstrate morality can only come from one place. Okay, so elimination. So, he's tried everything out, this is the only thing that's left. Your conversation demonstrated it's not from the gods. Clearly, it doesn't come from rocks and trees. Yeah, that's true, it's true. The only possible source of morality is human valuing. So, man is the measure of all things. Oh, I think that's the big famous line from Protagoras. Yep. I keep telling you, I don't know you. Chill, Dad, he's being polite. He might be mad if he learns you're an accountant. Well, Socrates, what do you think? Does Protagoras have the nature of morality? Is he trying to bait me? I think I'll ask a few questions before I make this decision. Certainly, ask away. Okay, let's give this another go. I think the Timon was the other Socratic dialogue I had to read. Also the apology. Simple elimination will demonstrate morality comes from one place. It's not from the gods. Clearly, morality doesn't originate from rocks and trees. Therefore, the only possible source is human valuing. Let's get some clarification here. Preference. It's different for each person. Okay, so each person gets to decide their own morality. What's good for me might not be good for you. That's his argument, okay. I've heard people make that argument in real life. It's a popular argument. I mean, there are examples of where something is just individually good or bad. Like, you know, it's okay for me to have a milkshake, but somebody who's lactose intolerant, it's a bad idea for them to have a milkshake. So, you know, there are differences between people. So you have any backing up for your statement? Well, we tried everything else. He listed like 2 different options and said, well, this is the last argument. Oh, wow. You don't like arguments based on elimination, Socrates? Ooh, no matter how many sources you eliminate, what if you overlook something? Yeah, like I'd have to ask every single philosopher ever to make sure that you're the correct one, because I have to reject all the others. Okay, you have a point. You're just as insightful as I remember, Socrates. Okay, let's try a different angle. Oh, good! We figured out the problem with that argument. Moving on to the next argument. Morality is a matter of values. Different people form different values. There are no things upon which everyone can agree. It'd be arrogant to presume that any position is wrong. Thus, we can only conclude morality is entirely relative to the individual. Ah, moral relativity is the name of this particular philosophical stance. Yeah, and the argument says, I can do whatever I want because I get to decide if something's good or not. So who cares if mom says I shouldn't stay out late every night, go into rock shows? I get to decide if it's good or not. Just because she thinks it's bad, she's wrong. I decide that it's good. And you can already see the flaw with the argument there. Hopefully you can. Sometimes people make really stupid choices. Really stupid choices. And they do things that are bad for them. Yeah. Think what's the classic example? Like smoking cigarettes. It's harmful for your health. You don't get to determine that. Like, doesn't matter what you think about smoking. It's bad for your health. So, let's see, what statements do we have here? We only have your face is ugly, so we clearly do not have much. We can't challenge anything, so let's just ask for clarification and backing. Values means personal preferences. I think there's a difference between a preference and a value, right? Yeah, check a dictionary. Ouch! Different people have different values. That's certainly true. Like, some societies prize things that other societies don't. Like in ancient Greece, being welcoming towards strangers was very highly valued, as we see in Greek stories like the Odyssey. I mean, that's why the Cyclops is a villain, is because the Cyclops is not kind to strangers. Cyclops tries to kill and eat strangers. This statement seems a little bit too much to say there's nothing that everyone can agree on. Like, I need some backing for that statement. Yeah, much like Euthyphro's gods. I mean, Euthyphro's gods disagree, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing that everyone can agree upon. Yeah, I remember democracy, right? Yeah, people definitely disagree when it comes to voting. It is very rare to have a vote which is like 99 votes yes, 1 vote no. I think the way they did it in Athens was they had, well, they had the penalty. Yeah, it was something like 66% was what they decided. You needed to have like 2/3 majority. So like if I sued somebody and then like 80% of the people said, no, this person's innocent, this is a bad lawsuit, I would be penalized for it because not enough people agreed with my lawsuit. So yeah, people could be prosecuted for bringing up bad lawsuits and wasting the government's time. Okay, so according to Protagoras, some people believe that those who speak out should be put to death. That's an interesting thing. It'd be arrogant to presume that any position's wrong. So you can't decide that somebody else is wrong. Like, I mean, it could be that somebody's lying to you, though, right? Wouldn't that be a philosophical conundrum? Because if they're lying about what's wrong, then you can't really make judgments. Then their judgments are incorrect. It's weird. So, can we really believe somebody who says eating pie is immoral, and somebody who thinks eating cake is immoral? That's kind of a silly example, yes. Yeah, so who's right? The cake haters or the pie haters? Gosh, that's a tough one. And let's see, did I ask for backing on the everyone agrees? Okay, yeah, I already asked for backing there, and that did give me a new statement. Okay, so let's ask for clarification and backing on this final statement. Oh, final statement, my mistake. Relative to the individual, they decide what's right or wrong. Context helps. Okay, let's get some backing here. I think I just did. I don't think I can challenge any of the statements on the ground that some people believe that, you know, some people believe in free speech, some people believe there should be limitations to what you can say. I think that's his point. So, I think now I just need to question the relevance of stuff. I don't think everything... I think these things are all relevant to his argument, though. I mean, I'll try the relevance of everything, but it doesn't look like that's going to be helping. Yeah, how does the arrogance... Yeah. Oh, that's the linchpin of his argument. I was asking why it was relevant, and he's like, yeah, that is my argument. Thank you. Already interrupted there. Maybe that means it's an important one. Okay, so we can't assess their opinions as a consequence. Well, if we can't determine if somebody's lying or telling the truth, yeah, I mean, that is sort of the argument. That's what you could say is the argument that he's making here, and that's clearly wrong. We can determine if somebody's made a mistake or not. How's this related to your conclusion? This is my conclusion. Thank you. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Alright, so morality is a matter of values. People form different values. I'm still trying to figure out how the speech penalty comes into play here. I'm gonna have to do the thing where I try question it, where I just go through the list and do all 3 things on every single topic. I think I already did that, though. I did backing with everything. Okay, we'll try clarification and backing for all of them. Okay, we did this backing. Alright, so that was a new conversation. Done clarification and backing for the first 3 statements. Well, and relevance to every statement. Okay, so it looks... Oh no! It looks like we've clarified, backed, and related every single statement. Now we've got to figure out which one sort of contradicts this. According to Protagoras, some people believe those who speak out should be put to death. Maybe we could challenge, I feel like it's probably going to challenge number 3 or number 4. Let's try number 4, and I'll... Nonsense! I hope. Hold it right there, old friend. I don't buy that argument. You claim it's impossible to say somebody else's values are wrong, but that's not true. Come on, old friend. That's not impossible. Just arrogant. Do we really believe that pie-eating stuff? let's use a different example, though. You said people thought that, you know, if you speak out against the government, you should be executed, right? I was thinking about that. I was thinking without free and open debate, we wouldn't be able to discuss anything. Excellent observation, Socrates. Just a moment, consider the consequences of your argument. If free speech was punished so, society would stagnate. Science and thought would come to a halt. Such side effects should not result from logical thinking. Yeah! Free speech is one of many things. Now it's considered in our day to be a right, a human right. Society's improved by the existence of free speech. Can you really argue that those who believe such things should be persecuted have validity? I don't think that's arrogant. Dad, that's kind of impressive. Well constructed, Socrates. Now, most things are based upon the individual, but when we get to extremes, it doesn't hold up. And that's the case with a lot of philosophical arguments, though. People try to take it to an extreme to just show that the argument is flawed. So morality is not entirely determined by the individual. Yeah, the original Socrates was not a fan of free speech here. That didn't stop him from complaining when he was called a blasphemer. Anyway, is it a solid argument? Not quite. What? Good points. Not perfect points. Give a moment, I'll show you the flaws in what you just proposed. Alright, round 2 of the argument. Good. I mean, not just philosophical arguments, but also political arguments. People just immediately jump to the extreme case, the most extreme case, to try to make their opponents look flawed. So it's true, most people agree on things like free speech. That doesn't mean they're universal goods. That just means people agree on them. Oh, wow, he's totally using the argument I said earlier, where, you know, it's like some people think there should be limits on free speech, like yelling fire in a crowded theater. Oh, but he's changing his argument here. He's saying morality is situational based. There could be objective moral standards while it's still situational based, right? I mean, people give the example of, okay, an objective moral standard, murder is bad. Subjective standard, you can kill in self-defense. So that doesn't, like, negate the fact that murder is bad. That's the argument. Okay, Socrates, let's see if we can figure this out. It's true, most people agree on free speech, but that doesn't mean they're universal goods. Let's get some clarification here. Nothing's absolute. That statement, nothing is absolute, is an absolute statement. Ah, I don't like it when people say things like that. Let's get some backing here. And some relevance here. So yeah, I think we've learned I'm not good enough at philosophy. I will need clarification, backing, and relevance for every statement. Just in case, because sometimes it gives me cool new arguments to make. The principles you name, such as free speech, are widely held. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Why are you questioning everything? That's your conclusion I'm answering? Just testing how well you knew what I was saying. Yeah. Okay, so if you yell fire in a crowded theater, let's get some clarification here. How do you even know what a crowded theater is? I thought all the theaters in ancient Greece were outdoor theaters. Yeah, what if you cause a panic and like somebody dies in a stampede, that's another philosophical issue. Who is responsible for the death? Like, I yell fire in a crowded theater, somebody gets trampled when everybody's running to the exit. Am I the murderer because I started fire, I started the stampede? Or is it the person who, you know, stepped on the person and trampled them? Of course, usually if somebody's trampled to death, there's lots of people stepping on them. I like yelling fire. What? Fire? Where? Voltaire, are you playing with matches? Oh, we're gonna die! Oh no! Okay, don't yell fire, Socrates. Okay. I demonstrated it's not a good idea to yell about fire. You can speak carelessly. That doesn't mean you should speak carelessly. Just because you can say something or do something doesn't mean you should do it. And that right there is not what I would say a subjective moral point. It's like, no, I'm saying objectively. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Because some things are objectively bad. Also, some things are stupid and you shouldn't do stupid things. Not because they're bad necessarily, just because they're stupid. Try not to make stupid choices, okay? Alright, so let's clarify this. My statement's pretty clear, actually. Your argument is bad. Morality comes from the individual, like I said earlier. Is that really what he's saying, though? I think I just backed up my statement. Let's ask for some relevance here. That is my conclusion. Oh, it is? Okay. I mean, if I remember correctly, you said philosophy is the individual, right? Protagoras, you've raised an interesting counterpoint to mine. Okay, so that looks like that's what happens when we question everything here. You argued morality can be affected by situation, right? Actions that are correct in one situation could be incorrect in another. Yeah. Like if I sing and dance because I'm part of a theater troupe, that's fine. If I sing and dance during a political debate, that's not fine. People think I'm weird. Yeah, but that observation runs against the grain of what you said earlier, because if morality is affected by situation, then there are factors other than the individual at play. I don't believe it. It seems to me you have two choices, but both have the same result. Like, you could say morality depends on the situation. Or, you could say morality depends on the individual. I think it's probably some sort of combination of both. That would be the stronger argument. Socrates. You're still really good at arguing morality, huh? Maybe my position is on shakier ground than I realized. I could write a thesis on this. You too, Protagoras. Yeah, you might have been onto something with your idea that the correct action can change based on the situation. That seems like a correct idea. But finding out why, yeah. Oh, and Protagoras is being sent away. Bye-bye, Protagoras. Socrates, I think you can win this wager, just like you did before. What? No, so the original Socrates was such a great philosopher, he solved... I love the achievements called subjective victory. That's cute. So the original Socrates was so good, he actually won the challenge of morality. Oh, Socrates, the original Socrates was the only one to solve this? Wow. Am I as smart as the original Socrates? The wisest, most bearded man in Athens? He's always questioning, always challenging himself and others. Never let himself become complacent. Never satisfied with any of the answers until he disappeared. Disappeared? Without a trace. Just vanished into the ether, never to be seen again. What happened to him? Did he want to leave? No one's really sure. The last person to see Socrates was Descartes. Ooh, are we going to debate him? And according to Descartes, the only thing Socrates said was, "I found it." Ooh. The answer. Wouldn't it be some sort of plot twist here if the arbiter was actually Socrates in disguise? I'm not sure. Maybe we'll find out in Chapter 3, The Social Contract. The chapter of this title is making me a little bit nervous. I've heard the argument that morality is a social construct, and I'm not really sure about that. It has the same problems as moral relativism, which we've discussed earlier in this game. There are different societies that disagree with each other. So, one society thinks kings should run the government, another society thinks kings are terrible. Well, how do you reconcile the fact that the two different societies are arguing with each other? That goes back to the Chapter 1 argument about what happens if the different gods argue with each other. That destroys the morality argument. There's also the fact that societies will disagree within themselves, right? So, laws and beliefs change as societies evolve and progress. What's legal today was not legal 50 years ago. And what is that but a society rejecting its past beliefs? That would explain why there is sometimes social upheaval, right? Because we've got different generations of people, they literally grew up in different societies, and so they argue with each other because they can't agree. So the idea that morality is just whatever your particular society says doesn't really work. There's also the fact that the society usually is made up of different groups that don't always interact with each other. And I see that in my life just geographically. Like, the people in my part of the country don't agree with the people on the opposite side of the country. We don't agree on anything, and we don't really get to deal with each other because we live really, really far apart. So those are separate societies, but they're still part of the same country, and they're in the same society. And so how do you deal with that in determining morality? And it's just confusing. So is that what we're going to discuss in the next chapter? I don't know.